everyone, this is Myron Golden, and I've got some really exciting information that I'm going to share with you on how to use your mind to produce the results that you desire in your life. If you want to learn how to use your mind to take your life to another level, then you've got to understand the programming of this computer that we have in our heads called our mind. And I want to share with you that you can have anything that you desire in your life if you learn to use what I call the human being's greatest power. What is the human being's greatest power? I call it expectation. And expectation is the human being's greatest power to produce. Your power to produce is directly correlated and directly related to your ability to expect. In fact, everything that you produced in your life already, all the things that you produced in your life, all the things that you have in your life, all the things that you do in your life, all the things that you are becoming in your life, you have produced because of this power called expectation. And you say, Myron, why do you say expectation is a human being's greatest power? Because expectation is what helped Roger Bannister break the 4-minute mile when everybody else thought it was impossible. Expectation is what caused the Wright brothers to keep working on what they called a heavier than air flying machine when their father told them if God intended for man to fly, he would have put wings on your back. I believe that the power of expectation gives people the energy to produce great results because it gives them the energy to take on things they wouldn't take on otherwise. So the only thing about expectation is expectation comes in multiple forms. Expectation comes in multiple forms. You say, Myron, what do you mean? Well, it comes in the form of outcomes that I don't desire. These undesirable outcomes are outcomes that we expect when we are worried about something. We have undesirable outcomes that we expect. And everybody has these. When you have an outcome that's undesirable, that you're expecting, that undesirable outcome is going to cause you to move away from the thing you desire because you expect not to be able to get it. But we also have what I call desirable outcomes. And these desirable outcomes are the outcomes that we desire. And when we learn to expect the outcomes we desire, we move towards those outcomes and we move towards producing those outcomes. And there was a video that came out many years ago and books that were written, a lot of fame and a lot of hoopla and a lot of noise around it. And I know you remember it because it was called The what? If you said Secret, you're right. It was called The Secret. And the interesting thing about The Secret, for most of the people who watch the videos, The Secret is still a secret. Why? Because I believe because it left out some very, very critical components. And I'm going to share some of those critical components with you today. I'm not going to share all of them with you, but I'm going to share some of them with you. And what I want to teach you how to do on this 3-part video series is I desire to teach you how to create the expectations for your desirable outcomes, how to intensify the expectations for the outcomes you desire, and how to minimize the expectations for the outcomes you don't desire, because that's really, really the key. See, one of the things that I discovered, and I'll show you this, and it'll make perfect sense to you. We've all heard of the law of what? Attraction. The law of attraction. Well, when you think of the law of attraction, most people, they say, well, yeah, the law of attraction, feeling good, I feel good, and when I feel good, good stuff happens to me. Well, that's partially true, but the fact is, the law of attraction works off of some very specific principles. And what I want you to see is, what I'm going to show you in this 3-part video series is that the law of attraction is really more about managing your expectations of desirable outcomes versus undesirable outcomes. And when you learn to manage those expectations, you can produce all kinds of results. I'm going to tell you a story. I remember back in 2008, and this was right after the, quote, Great Recession started. And the reason I want to share this story with you is because it's when I made the largest sale that I have ever made in my life. So I had this event in Georgia, and I was speaking on a Saturday. And at this event in Georgia, there was a guy there who knew, there were a couple of guys there that knew the president of this corporation that I wanted to do some work for. And I wanted to do some speaking and some seminar business and some consulting with. And so I went in and did this seminar, and the guy, his name was Roy, he said, well, I've got a meeting with the CEO on Tuesday. And I asked him the question, do you think you can get me in that meeting? He said, I don't know, we'll see. And I'll do what I can. And I'm going to give you the abbreviated version of the story. And so I called him on Sunday. He hadn't been able to get in reach him. Saturday night, hadn't been able to reach him. So I drove to Atlanta because I wanted my son to meet this professional golfer named Josh Olson. So we drove. We didn't fly. And we got ready to leave to go back from Atlanta to Pennsylvania. And on the way back on Sunday, by the way, my son and I, AC and I, we had been gone since Wednesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we're on our way back Sunday. On my way back home Sunday. Now, I haven't seen my wife since Wednesday. And she hadn't seen me since Wednesday. And I said, I'm going to get a plane ticket to go back to Florida for Tuesday. Okay, I want you to really wrap your mind around this now. I'm going to get a plane ticket on my way back to Pennsylvania, and I'm going to leave Tuesday morning. I'm going to leave, not Tuesday morning, Monday morning. I'm driving back from Atlanta all day Sunday and half the night Sunday night. We got back from Atlanta about 11 o'clock Sunday night. I called Southwest Airlines, bought a plane ticket. It was like $700, and so that I could leave for Florida the next morning, on Monday morning. My plane left, and I flew out and went back to Florida. You say, Myron, why are you telling us all the details of the story? Because I didn't even know I was going to be able to meet this CEO, but my expectation was, I'm going to meet him. And so I bought the plane ticket, flew back to Florida the next morning. I got home 11 o'clock that night. The next morning, left to go back to Florida. The Tuesday, I drove from Jacksonville to Tallahassee, which was a couple-hour drive, to go meet this guy who I had never met, who did not even know I was coming. Okay, if that gives you any indication. Well, when I got there, another friend of mine was there, and he was already meeting with this guy. So he invited me into his office, and we sat down and we talked for a few hours, and we just kind of talked about where their business was and where their business wanted to go. And we went out to lunch, came back from lunch. It was almost time for our meeting to be over, and I thought, I've got a great idea. Why don't I pitch this idea to him? So I'm talking about expectations now. All of this is built around expectation. Well, what I did was I offered to create a special promotional project for them. And I won't go into the details, but I told him it would be $400,000. Now, my expectation was so strong that the CEO of this company said to me, here was his response when I said I would create this special promotional package for him. He said, you do that for us? And I said, I would do that for you. And I said, it's $200,000 up front and then $200,000 upon delivery. He picked up his phone and called his accounting department and said, bring me a check for $200,000. And then he looked at me and he said, do you want me to make it out to you or do you want me to make it out to your company? I said, make it out to your company. I called my assistant, had her create a purchase order, fax it to him. They wrote me a check on the spot for $200,000, and the presentation for that $400,000 sale took 15 minutes. How was I able to do that? I was able to do that through using the power of expectation. Now, on the second video, on the next video, I am going to show you exactly the technology, the mind technology that I used to buy a plane ticket for $700 to meet somebody who didn't know I was coming, walk into his office, having just met him that day, and then leave with a $400,000 deal. On the next video, I'm going to show you how I produce that. Not because that's the big deal, but whatever you desire. If I can produce that kind of result from expectation, you can produce any result that you desire from this, learning how to empower your expectations as well. So I'll see you on the next video, but before you go, I want you to do three things. Number one, I want you to like this video if you liked it. Number two, I want you to share this video so other people can learn how to tap into their minds. And by all means, please leave a comment below this video. So like it, share it, comment on it. Well, I guess it would be better if you like it, comment, and share it. So like it, comment, and share it. And then there's a link in the description above this video. If you click on that link, it'll take you over to YouTube so you can watch part 2. I'll see you on the next video.